Hi everyone. In this video we're going to go over the Crusade boss and my final attempt to do as high damage as possible. And this is the team I came up with. So I've already ran the team in like for my top score, but I'm just going to replay it in simulation just to show you how it works and all of that. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to try out like every combination I could think of. I tried out most stuff. But I did get sick over the last few days, so I wasn't really up to playing that much. I was pretty much just doing my dailies basically on the like all those days. But yeah, there are some things that probably could improve the run if I could figure it out. Like Aeveti and Zhaowu, they're not triggering the EX abilities in this team. I'm still using them because they're normal buffs do increase crit damage, yeah, if I had the EX abilities triggering, it would do even more. But it's a little bit finicky with this boss because she does this AoE, right, when she's below 40%, and it does quite a lot of damage, and it also like stuns all your supports and stuff. It makes it really annoying to like play around. So like yeah, because I tried doing things like sacrifice Tina to be one of the units that die for Zhaowu's EX, but sometimes when I do that, then it would mean that Charlissa loses the buff eventually because there's two lots of rounds that will pass due to the stun, right? Because a lot of units will get stunned, and yeah, it was quite tough to figure out this boss, unfortunately. So yeah, there's definitely some room for improvement. But yeah, let's go over what I did for this boss. Before I go over the turn orders, I think it's good to note that you have to basically pick one DPS for this boss. And the good anti-dodge units are Precio, Valentine Charlissa, and there's like also possibly Lily and also Cynthia. They both have anti-dodge abilities. So between the four, I decided to go with Charlissa because I feel like she was a fairly safe option. Because I think between Charlissa and Precio, it's going to be one of these two that will most likely be the best damage dealer for this boss, in my opinion. So I decided to go with Charlissa because she's a guard unit, so I wanted to try her out in PvP as well. She's like a good guard DPS. I thought maybe she could be useful in place of like Kokoro Kami and other assault units, to take out the opposing units. Since she's like quite high DPS, and being anti-dodge is not too bad either for things like Nastia. Yeah, so I decided to go with Charlissa, and yeah, it could have been better to do Precio. Maybe could have done a bit more damage, but I'm not too bothered by it. It's still a pretty high score. Alright, so going over the turn order. First off, we have Lina. Now she's here to apply continuous heal on Charlissa, and I like her in this stage because it's easier to target Charlissa with the diagonal targeting, because if you use like Momoka, it's a little awkward because it's like you have to be positioned like this, right? So you can't just like put Momoka targeting your Farnese because obviously it will splash onto the boss's attack will splash onto Charlissa, right? So this allows me to like target the Farnese on a diagonal, and that way I can still use Fleur, who's also a diagonal buffer, right? So I have two diagonals, and Fleur is the third unit for buffing crit damage. So obviously she has to be Overlimit to to be in here. I do have her at Overlimit 60, so she has as much crit damage as she can give. Then we have Franca, who's the healer and also like an attack buffer. And like she'll heal back the Tina damage, right? Or at least like a good chunk of it in combination with Lina. So with these two, it'll mean that you won't die to the AOE, right? That 40%. I did try without using Lina, or like any sort of heal buffer, and it was pretty awkward. I think there's possibly a way to do it if you could line up the turns to make Charlissa attack on the third turn, and also have Tina like dead as well, right? If you sacrifice her to the boss, in like probably like turn the second round probably, then it should last. The boss should last long enough for Charlissa to get the extra attack in, but it was a bit too finicky, so I just decided to do a run like this. Now, of course, I got Aeveti and Zhaowu, both on the crit buffers, and they're targeting like this. So everyone's like, splashing that buff onto Charlissa, of course. Then I've got Illya here. She's here for the additional crit damage, or like whatever her buff. I'm not sure if this is the actual correct name, but this is what the translation is. And I found out more. It seemed to be doing better than running like Precio as a secondary DPS. So I just left it like that. I think it's also a bit more consistent damage as well. I did find when I was using Precio, the end result varied a fair bit. So rather than like stuffing around with the RNG, I just went with Illya, which is a lot more consistent damage. Now, of course, we've got Tina to do single target buff. So I'll start the fight to show you how the fight goes. Now, I also will have all the turn orders and stuff in the description. So if you find it hard to follow along, maybe you can't understand my voice or whatever, that's another alternative for you to check and read at your leisure. Okay, so we're looking at Charlissa's damage here. One of the things I was trying to do also is maybe even like minimize, not necessarily minimizing, but like controlling the amount of damage she does. So if she can do it such that the boss isn't quite at 40% on the second hit, then you could possibly dodge that hit for another turn. But I wasn't really able to work out a good like lineup for that. But I think that would have been a good strat to try to do if I had more time. So here, as I was saying, like if you could probably get the health to above, I believe it's 800k, then that will mean that on this next turn she won't do her EX yet, right? And that'll buy you an extra turn to try to push it down again. But yeah, I just didn't have time to try to work out like how to do that, because it'll be a bit finicky with all like my units skill ups already. I guess I could skill down some stuff, but then I don't know if there'll be enough. I don't know if it will be worth it, because then she won't push like, at the end for more damage. Like, yeah, she'll have a lot more bonus health here, right? Or like not really bonus health, but like extra health here, so you're not overkilling as much, right? Right, that could have been something else that could have been looked into. And this should be about 1.63 million score, whatever it is. You see here, 1.62. I think this is like around midway, so it varies between 1.61 to 1.63, I think. So yeah, that's the run I settled with in the end. I haven't been bothering to like try again. I mean, I could probably RNG like slightly more, but it's gonna make very little difference. In the end, it'll be second for this boss. So that's all I have for today's video. Thanks for watching. Hope that was interesting and maybe gives you some ideas on how to tackle the next boss. It'll be different every boss, I think, because it depends on their like abilities. For example, this team is not exactly the same as what I used on the previous boss, right? Which is Yomagan. But like I was trying to use similar strategies, like trying to proc the EX and stuff, right? But because the boss's abilities are different, then you can't do it, the same thing as last time. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow since it'll be update day. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.